Welcome to Yoga for My Daughters. I was very lucky to buy this singing bowl right next to the Ganges River in a place called Rishikesh, India. So very exciting, and I'll begin sharing this with you at the start of every class. So we're reading from How to Love by Thich Nhat Hanh, and today's class is for Emma. And Emma is looking for a class that helps her connect to her body, connect to her breath, connect to a sense of groundedness. And so I started with a singing bowl to right away connect with our senses. And we're going to get out of our thinking brain, although anchoring the class and the theme can help organize the thinking brain into the practice. If at any point it's not, right, just bring yourself to your feet, your breath, your sensations as you practice. So let's see. This is good. We are going to work on nourishing our happiness. Each of us can learn the art of nourishing happiness and love. Everything needs food to live, even love. If we don't know how to nourish our love, it withers. When we feed and support our own happiness, we are nourishing our ability to love. That's why to love means to learn the art of nourishing our happiness. And it's a perfect quote to go with the class today because self-love, or in Sanskrit, it's called Maitri, M-A-I-T-R-I. And Maitri is this complete and utter love for the self, of loving kindness, of being really curious with yourself, of being accepting of yourself, to being open-minded with yourself in a really gorgeous, loving way. So that's Maitri. And to do that, the foundation of that is really presence, to be very present. When we look at the teachings, Buddhist teachings, for example, it also includes a steadfastness to the self. So we want to be steadfastly curious, engaged with the sensations in the body, and being right here, noticing the breath, noticing the heartbeat, noticing what we feel and see. And this is this nourishing, the taking in of ourselves of love. And think about it, when you fall in love with something or something like Havzi or Finnegan, and I kind of think of they're my someones, or another person, the whole beginning of that process and the ongoing cultivation of that love is sensational. You're just constantly like petting, cuddling, smelling. My children, I smell their hair, right? So it's this sensational experience. And there's a steadfastness. We get up and we feed our pets. We take care of our children, right? So we want this same kind of steadfastness for ourselves. So let's start again one more time. We'll like loop back to just getting to what we hear. So let's start with that. And just one ring of the singing bowl. So here we go. And we listen until maybe we can't hear anymore. And then let's be aware of other sounds. I'm not sure what you can hear on the microphone. You're also able to hear where you are. So we have pigeons that live outside. I can hear the pigeons talking. There are babies out there. And I can hear Hobbs as he is talking, and I think talking about the pigeons. And then I can hear Finnegan licking his paw. I can hear the ventilation system in the house. And then I can go out a little further to see if I can hear anything outside of the house even. So birds. I don't hear any cars going by or other dogs. And I don't hear any airplanes. And so we can do this layer of sound and just nourishing the body with all of the sounds around. And then we can turn that inward. So I'm going to place my hands on my chest. And now I'm going to add that I'm listening, but I'm listening for sensations. Hans wants to play the singing bowl. So I'm going to listen for my heart beating and listen for my breath. So take a few moments there, listening for the heartbeat. I'm going to be able to maybe feel the heartbeat inside my body and maybe feel the heartbeat outside with my hands. So exteroception, interoception, inside and outside, intero in, extero out. Okay, let's do that now. As we're expanding this concept of listening to orienting ourselves toward a different sense. So we're listening, nourishing, taking in through all the senses. And then I can have a sense of my tactile awareness or what things feel. And I can feel the clothes on my body. I can feel my belly expanding and contracting as I breathe. I can feel my hair up. I can feel the air on my skin. I can feel Finnegan right next to me and Hobbs as he goes by. I can feel the breath. When I go inside of my body, I can feel the breath moving in and moving out and moving in and moving out. I can feel my hips on the block, and there is a tightness here, right? And so I just notice the tightness. I don't have to judge it or decide about it. I'm just noticing it, right? And then this gives me this awareness, this connection, this kind of nourishing by taking in, gives me awareness, gives me choice, right? So I can kind of think, oh, I might make sure that I stretch and work with my hips today. Yeah. Okay, so we're having a sense of this tactile awareness too. And then what I see, and really paying attention to what you see before you practice can be very calming for the nervous system. Otherwise, we might kind of be trying to see if we're safe during the whole class or see if we know what's going on. So before we get started, it can be really helpful to just check out your space. And I have behind the camera, behind the computer, I have a dining room and then the living room with I love the chess set, right? And the big palm tree I can see. And then I can see the door that slides open outside to the deck where the pigeons are and the fern. I see the pets. I don't see one of our pets, Taffy, so I'm noticing. I don't know where Taffy is. The other window, the fireplace behind me. So I have a good sense of the entrances to the space. And then I can see my own hands, right? My own body, pets, the carpet, the mat, the singing bowl. Yeah, so I have a good sense of that. And then I'm going to pay attention now when I practice to my drishti, or where am I going to focus as I practice. So the drishti, I'm going to really orient intentionally my gaze. I can do that externally, and then with my inside eye, I can orient my gaze really specifically inside, maybe to the breath, maybe to my hips, maybe to my feet grounding. And so now I'm going to work toward a really intentional orienting of what I see, right? What I hear, what I nourish myself with. So we'll move from here into some cat and cows. So we'll see. Scooch our Finnegans over. All right, here we go. I know. So cat and cow. Let's start with a nice extra cow. So sit bones high, and that's connecting to noticing my hips. I'm dropping the belly, shoulder blades come together, letting the spine drop in. I'm having my chin draw in a bit and stretching through the crown of my head. And then pressing into my mat, noticing those sensations with my thumb and first finger, maybe even the knuckles of my thumb and first finger as I begin to round, dropping my head, dropping my tailbone, pulling my navel in, feeling the tops of my feet, and then dropping the belly, lifting the head. And then I begin to synchronize that with my breath and really orienting the senses to the breath. And then coming to neutral, I'm going to step forward a little bit. I'm going to take my right foot, curl my toes, and then press back through the leg. And I'm really using my hands and pressing. Triceps are rotating down toward the earth, chin neutral, and pressing back, stretching through the calf of my right leg and just noticing the muscles in there. Using my inside eye, and I'm so grounded on the earth, really connected to the earth, very heavy to the earth. And then switching, taking Hobbs hair off of my hands. There. And then I can notice too if there's a difference between my legs. So I'm noticing my left leg, and I'm an equestrian. I've been working a lot with my left leg in riding lessons, and so I notice, I feel that practice in my leg right now. So I'm just noticing it. So we can start to become aware that the body, right, holds the story of our lives. The body holds the story of our yesterdays. Yeah. And we just know that. So when we're stretching our muscles and we're moving our body, we are really connecting to the echoes. And so when we love ourselves in this body right now, we are loving all the past versions of us, all the stuff our body has partnered with us to experience, all the whatever, if we want to move slightly into judgment, the good, the bad, right, the beautiful, the complicated. So I'm into cat and cow. Then coming straight, flat with the back. Shoulder blades active. I'm going to move my hands a little more underneath my shoulders. And now pressing in and moving a little forward. Not too much weight on the hands. I'm just stretching through my wrists. Yep. And then forward stretching, noticing the sensations there. Stretching through my wrists. And then taking my hands and pointing them out. I can go side to side, maybe a little bit of a circle. Paying attention, so taking in, nourishing yourself, feeding yourself with the sensations. Circle the other way. And letting go of a need for all of this to become a thought, and that's hugely hard for me. You can probably tell. You can probably tell without, yeah, shocking. I intellectualize as defense. Yeah. Now this one, I'm going to take a lot of weight into my knees so that I'm not hurting my wrists, right? And just stretching. So a lot of tension here. Whoa. Yeah. So I'm being careful. So self-love is using what we notice too to make choices that are good for our bodies. Okay, now taking the back leg up. I have my toes curled under on the other side. You can kind of see what makes you feel most stable. So I have the back leg up. And then I can pulse here. So we pulse not really for a workout, but we're pulsing so we can become aware of the muscles that move the leg up. So about 10 or so pulses in a nice, so think about your body, think about the bones as this kind of very central, it's the earth in the body, right? It's kind of the groundedness, and we're connecting to the muscles as they wrap around those bones. Yeah. When we're writing, as a researcher, when we're writing, we're always looking at what's the bones, what are the bones of this paper, right? Let's go to the other side. And that is like the structure that organizes it all, the earth of the paper, the first chakra of the paper. Yeah, the earthiness, that element. So here we're paying attention to the muscles and having a sense of them connecting to the bones in our body. And as our bones are on this earth, so very earthy. Good. And then taking this into some circles. Just working through. So you can get a sense here of tension in my muscles and then softness in my muscles. Yeah, and I can change directions again. I want to be able to, I'm going to aspiration maybe of our yoga. So we can be with what's here and we can also work with what's here. And the work with is a bit of an aspirational quality. I aspire to something. And that would be to really have a sense of when my body is holding and when it's softening. All right, so we'll take a little stretch, looking up, and then bring our hands to heart center, breath in, and out. And then moving this into downward facing dog. This class I'm working really hard to keep only to 1 hour. I haven't been so good at that yet. So pressing, walking through one heel and then the other. And again, I'm noticing the sensations in my body. I can orient for a moment to my ears, right? What am I hearing? And I can actually hear my feet moving on the mat. There's a little like kind of sound as I move from one foot to another. And then I'll orient my eyes. I'm gonna look somewhere like between my feet to the wall behind, bending the knees, sit bones up, and then working towards straight. But again, these are our bodies. My body works towards straight, yeah. Perfect, body, good job. And then a nice stretch. You can take this stretch from table or from downward facing dog. And just opening up, breathing, 3, 2, 1. And then we'll step forward to a low lunge. So here, my foot didn't go as far as I hoped. That's okay, right? And we just put the foot down where we want it. Scooch it up. And then we're just feeling, being with. Dropping the back knee, hands on the front. We'll go a little bit deeper here. And you're paying attention to your body. Anything I say is just an idea, a suggestion. The most important relationship is between you and your body. Ever since the very beginning. Your soul came here, right? It manifested itself in this beautiful body. And that relationship is the relationship like is all about your life here on earth. And nothing I say should ever get in between you and your body. So if I say something that does, just you don't ignore it, right? Oh, not for me. Not for me. And then if I say something that helps, perfect, great, right? That's the goal, but it won't always be the way it is. Sometimes you will have to say, not for me. I'm going to do that differently. All right, so now we're coming in and just a little bit of a goalpost arm and reach, just a little. Stretching out the front side body, paying attention to the sensations. Breathe in and out. Breathe in, reach. And I'm going to get a sense of myself on the earth and pull this back to heart center. All right. And then downward facing dog. Walk that out. Whoa. And noticing the difference between one side and the other. There's so much to notice. It's funny that we think so much in yoga because there's just so much to notice. So much to nourish ourselves with, to feed that self-love. All right, ready? Left leg up, bend and stack. Big stretch. And this can again happen from table. And then breathe in and then draw forward, step forward, scooch, and then into your lunge. Yeah. And just noticing and feeling, dropping the back knee, and then stretching through the hips, and breathing. So breath is a foundational connection to the self. So we have the earth is really, right, a part of that primary foundation, the breath. What are the things that help us really connect to our body right here, right now? And they are a sense of our feet on the ground, our breath moving in and out of our body, and then all of our sensations. Those are going to get you to like the really first steps of embodiment, of positive embodiment. When we do that with joy and loving kindness, right? Curiosity and openness. All right, here we're gonna take to the goalpost arms, noticing the hip flexor, just enough for a stretch. Big breath in and out and in, and drawing the hands to the heart center. And then downward facing dog. Walking that out. Taking a big breath in and out into the heels. And in and out. And then slowly walking forward. I'm going to face you. So I have my feet about hip distance apart. I'm pressing into the earth. I'm having a push sense, and I'm getting to here. I'm going to start to pull, pull, pull. So push, pull, pelvic floor, belly through the chest, and then into a reach. Push, pull, reach. So my reach is really powerful. And then taking that reach to either side. So stretching my foot on the right side is pressing down, reaching, and then on my left. So now I can pay attention to the stretch receptors in the side body. So this is a deep listening to the body. Yeah, and I can kind of orient to that listening, to that noticing, to that nourishing, and maybe make that my primary noticing. That I'm not going to be thinking, I'm not going to be hearing, and right, I'm really noticing and listening for the stretch in my body. All right, let's take that a little further. The feet are a little more than hip distance apart. So I'm going to breathe in and then out, stretch. Good, breathe in and out, stretch. 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 And breathe in and out. Good. And let's take that even further. So here we go. Pointing my toes out a little because I'm going to move into squats and go down as low as what feels good for your body. So we're making circles up and out. So now I'm paying attention to the earth and in my reach. So grounded. Ready? Push up. Now I'm going to kind of pull myself down and then push myself up and pull myself down and push up and pull down and push up and pull down. One more. Push up and pull down. And then a soft up. Good. And then a side to side. So this is just our little way of giving our body a nice break. Yeah. All right, let's pause and listen to our heartbeat. So here, there's more. My heartbeat is fast because I just activated all those big gross motor muscles. My breath is happening more quickly, and I'm just honoring that. Noticing. And I might even slow the river of my breath. The river of my breath is moving, and the beautiful, like the little boat person of my heart and the breath. And the heart will go with the breath down the river. So to support the heart and slowing down the river, here, we'll make this boat. We're going to slow the breath to more slowly carry the heartbeat. Yeah, and so here, if you have anxiety, if you have like OCD kinds of thoughts, we do the grounding, we orient to the breath, and we imagine the breath carrying the heartbeat in a self-nurturing, nourishing practice of grounding and breathing. We can make our boat go this way too. This little person, I don't know, should I make this the person? There we go. So heartbeat and breath. Okay, so now let's do a few things with our joints here and noticing. So let's start with the feet. And it's always good to build your practice from the ground up. It's not a mandate or necessary, but it's a nice practice, earth up. And it goes with the theme of this class. We'll have to move our little Finnegan a little. Okay, so my feet are hip distance apart. My hands are out to the sides. It helps with balance. And I'm gonna lift my left leg. It'll be your right leg. Lift your right leg to just a little bit of a hover, and you're swinging gently forward and back. In this practice, I learned through the Himalayan Institute, where I got my 200-hour teacher training. Yeah. Teacher trainings are amazing. You don't have to even want to teach. They help you really dive into your practice. And I think of teacher training like you can become your own teacher, right? Always good to learn from others as student, and then and then teach our own pathway, teach others, share with others. Always student, always teacher. Beware the person thinks they're no longer needing to be a student. Seriously, I shouldn't laugh. Be very aware. Be very wary. Okay, so I'm just noticing. Oh, I didn't notice enough. There was there was our fireplace. And I can feel a lot happening in my supporting hip. And I'm gonna ground and then swing on the other side. And maybe I can bring some softness right into the hip. So what I'm noticing, I can get curious about. I'm noticing this, and I'm gonna get curious. Different from sports where I know I'm my age, so I was in high school and part of the 80s and college during that time, and I was an athlete, and it was push through, right? Like no pain, no gain, and kind of ignoring the pain. And that is not yoga. So yoga is noticing, nourishing, caring for, being with what we're noticing. We don't push through anything. We might work to stay with it, right? Stay and be present and be with it, but we're not pushing through. We're not ignoring. Yeah, we even offer supports when they're needed. Oh. Good. So now back to the first leg. a softness in the knee, and then just out and in. And it's really difficult if you've been an athlete in college, and I know Emma has been an athlete, is still an athlete, to get out of the mindset that I'm working out. What I'm really doing here, although the side effect is good for my muscles and my body, what I'm doing here is I am really exploring the sensations that are occurring as I make these movements. As I really work to support the functioning of these joints. Really important joints of the hips, right? And I'm really paying attention to my inside eye, my interoception. And ground. Consider that there can be a sinking into the hips and that we can draw in the pelvic floor and the belly and support the hip muscles by contracting in and up with the muscles of our core. So that we don't have to like sink on to the hip so much as we press into the earth and draw into the body. So experiment with that. Like what happens when you pull in and up with your pelvic floor, pull in and up with your navel? How does that support your experience with your hips? Right? The sensations, does it feel any different? Breathing. Nice. Now taking your feet way more than hip distance apart, hands on your hips, in a big circle. So again, we contracted, and now we're going to relax the hips. Whoa. And paying attention to those sensations. And I'm trying to go way back, over to the side, to the front, to the side. These big circles. And then changing direction. Yeah. Yay. Good. Gonna do some side to side. All right. And then coming to center, I want to have my feet a tiny bit more than hip distance apart. Arms out. And then I'm gonna, let me open. So take a thumb, scoop them back, and then just flip over your hands. So now I have a nice open chest. Good. And then we're just doing gentle, like we're bouncing balloons. I think we did this also in a class for Maya that was for after work, right? Just this really connecting to your body and the muscles. So not a really kind of fast flow, but more of like feeling the body, connecting back, realigning the self. Yeah. And you can turn your palms and up, up, up. Chin neutral. So in this one, it can get really easy to let your chin move forward. So draw your chin in, more or less the throat lock. Yeah, bring that in. Yeah, and then shake that out, side to side. We can bring it out, cross, out, cross, out, cross, out, cross, up, and out, and up, and another arm forward, and up, and other arm forward. So just having a sense, and like connecting to the breath. Yeah, and then side to side, side to side. Yeah, good. All right, so let's do a couple sun salutations. They're nice to just get us moving. We're gonna do these with crescent lunge, so we can work with the lunges. So breathing in, reaching up, and then moving into a chair pose. Big breath in, fold forward, halfway lift, and then high plank, knees to the floor, feet to the floor, slowly rolling down, Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Ha. Right foot forward, crescent lunge. So that means I'm on the ball of the back foot. I'm going to face you. So let's see. There we go. So you have your right foot forward. I have my left so that we're on the same page. Good. So I'm noticing the earth. I'm noticing my breath. I'm noticing even like kind of air on the skin. I'm nourishing my body. I'm going to exhale and come down to a hover. And then inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Down. Up. Down. And up. Yay. Good. Let me get myself back over here. And then down to the knee. Heel toe. Heel toe your foot out toward the right corner of the mat. Letting your leg open up, and you'll be on the outer edge, your pinky edge of your foot. Letting the hips come forward. The back leg comes up, bending the knee. The left hand grounds, and you're going to reach around. There it is. For your ankle, the palm facing the outside of the ankle. For a stretch through the left quad and hip flexor. And this is a lot of sensation to be with. Let it, so this different idea, let it nourish you, right? Let the earth support you. Let your breath help you connect with yourself and your experience. And let this experience nourish you, opening up the left leg. I have Hobbsy's licking my foot. I feel like he's making bad choices. Yeah. He's had a hard time. He had an eye infection, so he's feeling better. Good, then slowly coming out of this and bringing my foot back in line with my hip in the front. My toes are curled over in the back, and I'm taking this into a runner stretch. And I'm not wanting to sit back on my back leg, taking the hips back hard forward toward the toes. I can soften my neck, and then just paying attention to the stretch in the back of the leg. Hi, Hobbsy. Great. Yeah. Oh. Oh no. Good. And then we'll step this back into a high plank. Drop the knees, drop the feet, roll down. So we want to just be able, today we're focusing on sensation. And then lifting, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. And then your left foot forward for a crescent lunge. So that means my right foot if I face you. Here we go. So I'm on the ball of my back foot, hands up, and then I'm going to lower down into Hobbsy. And then up and out. So I'm pairing it with your breath. And up and out and up and out and up and out. Two more. And good. Good, here we go. So I'm gonna come back over here. My left foot forward. Oops. He's like, oh, good. And I'm gonna come down, drop the knee, heel toe my foot over, right hand connects the left hand. So I have my hips forward, not back. So forward, and then connecting here. And you can use a strap. And then just breathing with What's here? And if you're lucky like me, you have a beautiful dog and cat, or whatever it is that you love in your house. And I find that when I do yoga, they just really want to be around. Same with the horses when you breathe. They just want to be around a nice, grounded, breathing nervous system. And then slowly coming back to our runner stretch. And just be loving with your body, right? These especially like, no matter, you got to think about, let me try to say a sentence here. I'm thinking about all these situations and then I'm trying to make it into one sentence. You want to consider that your body does so much all day, and then we come to yoga, right, and we're like, oh, this hamstring is not stretching like I want it to, right? That this is a performance, and this is not a performance. This is being with the sensations in your body as you gently stretch and nourish the muscles. If you make this into performance, you'll lose the yoga of it. And it really can tell you, right? Like if your hamstrings are so tight, it can tell you ways that, oh, I need to care for my body. I need a little bit more yoga, right? I need to strengthen the muscles that support these muscles that are overworked and feeling so tight. Yeah. And then moving out of this, and we'll walk our feet forward and then roll up again to standing. So just a bit more standing, some balancing, and then we'll come down to the mat and finish. So having another check in with our heart and our breath. Okay, so today we'll do 2 balance poses. We'll do dancer pose, that gets us into another stretch through the hip flexors and the heart center, and then tree pose. So grounding your left foot and connecting to the earth, and taking a pause here to notice your connection to the earth, and then lifting through the right foot and catching the inside of your ankle with your palm. Sometimes I put my thumb into the sole of my foot, sometimes not. And then you can choose straight arm or chin mudra. And then just kicking in to as far as you'd like to go. Breathing. So let's do this for 10 counts. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Breathing, noticing, right, stretching. 3, 2, good. And if there's wobbliness, You're just noticing that, right? And we're gonna make friends with wobbliness. We make friends with everyone we meet on the path. We even make friends with ambition or perfectionism. We're like, oh, you guys are hard to be with, but you're welcome at our campfire. We'll teach you how to joke and relax. 10 counts here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Yeah? Good. And then before we do our tree pose, we're going to do a breath. So we're going to come up and then open and then up and out. In, out. In, out. Bless me. Oh, I always sneeze 3 times, just twice. Yeah. In, Open, in and out. In, in, in and out. One more. In, in and out. Yay. All right, side to side. All right, now tree pose on the right side. So I'll do my left, your right. Here we go. Okay. So finding the earth, noticing my hip. I'm going to activate here and draw this in. Not to be perfect, but to support my hip. And then pelvic floor in, belly. So I'm push, pull, express. Yay. And then maybe opening. And then collecting at the heart center. And loving wobbliness. Oh, I have some very beautiful sleeping babies right underneath me. That's not why I wobbled. I'm not sure why. But I'm going to give my body a chance, right? You give yourself half a chance. Good. So I want my body to have that sense of collectedness. Yay. And then the other side. Here we go. Most of the time, and I'm trying to think and wonder why I did fall out, it is because we lose our sense of center. So we're often, the thoughts go somewhere, the body loses its collection, and then we'll fall out. And this isn't bad, it just is what happens. Just like when you're meditating, you're like, okay, and so you bring yourself back, is all. Like love practices love, and love is not a punitive process. That's not love. It's not love in any way. Love can have discipline, a steadfastness, right? But it also has joy and playfulness, loving kindness. Yay. Woo. So I should pay attention to my transitions. So let me do that, right? So here, yes, here, see? And then you just notice and think, what's happening there? Beautiful. All right, just a few more minutes to stretch and relax on the ground. So let's get down there. So this stretch I love so much. Fingers pointing behind you. Your legs are out. And I love this. I love it probably because I run and walk and do other things that get me tight in the hips. And I think I was born tight in the hips. But I do love it because you can set your settings. So my leg is out. I cross my right ankle over my left knee. The first thing to do is to scooch your heel of your supporting leg toward your sit bones. I'm keeping the bent leg, the one that's resting on my knee, active, toes active. And then I'm walking the heels of my hands to bring my chest toward my shin of the leg that's crossed. Then I'm pressing into my sit bones and lifting up through my chest, chin neutral. I can do tiny movements and I can stay and breathe. So noticing my hip, breathing energy to my hip. So very connected, very grounded. I'm connected to the earth. I'm connected to myself, right? The leg here, I'm connected to the earth again with my hands, my sit bones, and then I connect to my breath. And 5 nice breaths here. And that's 5. If at any point you want to stay in any pose longer or, extend the practice in a certain part of class, all you have to do is pause, right? So I walked myself out and now I'm setting up the other side, drawing myself in. Your heel comes as close as what's right for your body. Activate the leg and then stepping the heels of the hands forward. Press the sit bones down, lift the chest, chin neutral, and start breathing. I know I talked a bit on the other side, so I want to make sure we're even. So thinking about this love, this nourishing through the senses, through the earth, through your breath. Right? He who half breathes, half lives. They who half breathes, half lives, including all of us. Breathe fully. Okay, 5 breaths here. And then slowly walking that out. Good. A few more minutes. So let's get really sensational here. So coming to a seated position in cobbler's pose. And I have my outside of my hands on the top of my feet and my thumbs on the inside. And now I'm just going to work with one foot. So I'm taking my thumbs and I'm going to massage up one toe from the heel at a time. And we'll start with the big toe. So you're just taking your thumbs and massaging up. And the tops of your hands are massaging the tops of your foot as you go. And it's really noticing those muscles and not judging your feet. Not deciding anything about it in that way. I'm headed to my second toe all the way up through the top of the toe, from the heel into your third toe. I don't know why, but I always thought like nurturing had to come from the outside, like someone else had to nurture you or it didn't count. And I know my mom had a really hard time herself and, processing her own childhood, but then also she was a military, married, and my father's in the military, and he was gone a lot, and she had 5 kids, and it was a lot. It was a lot. There wasn't a lot of foot rubs going on, I'll tell you that. And then switching. And so I had this craving, right, to be kind of nurtured in this physical way. And it was when I read Kim Chernon's The Woman Who Gave Birth to Her Mother. The Woman Who Gave Birth to Her Mother. Such a beautiful title, a beautiful book. That this notion, so I'm working up each of my toes, this notion of self-love that you can really provide for yourself, this nourishment that you crave. And of course, it's beautiful when someone else nurtures us and cares for us, and it's so important, and don't want to discount that. It's so important, but that we can offer this for ourselves as well, and it counts. Yeah. All right, and something a little, let's see, I have the fireplace behind me, it's a bit challenging. So we're going to take the peace sign fingers on one toe, up, and the peace sign fingers on the other toe, and see, yay. It's okay if you rock backwards. I'm trying not to, mostly because there's an iron fireplace behind me. All right, and now it's time for our Shavasana. So laying back and down. And I'm going to, in your Shavasana, I'm going to sit And so you can lay back and down. I'm going to see if I can find my book of these animals. Here it is. They're already in Shavasana for us. I'm going to read one more time what Thich Nhat Hanh had to tell us about our love here. Feeding our love. So first of all, get yourself nice and settled. Yeah, and let the earth hold you. Connect to your breath. If it helps, put a hand on your belly and a hand on your heart and connect to your heartbeats. And just breathe. Feeding our love. Each of us can learn the art of nourishing happiness and love. Everything needs food. Everything needs food to live, even love. If we don't know how to nourish our love, it withers. When we feed and support our own happiness, we are nourishing our ability to love. That's why to love means to learn the art of nourishing our happiness. Taking a few moments to breathe. And then slowly orient yourself even more towards your breath, taking a deep breath in and out and in and out. And in and out. Wiggle your fingertips and your toes, bend your elbows and your knees, and roll to your right side, softest side for your heart. And then if there's anything from class or Shavasana that you want to take with you, draw it close to your heart now, so you have it out there in the world. And then slowly come to a seated position. Ankles crossed, hands at your heart center. And one Om together, inhaling. The light, the work towards self-love or Maitri in me. Sees the light and the work towards self-love in Maitri in you. Om Shanti Shanti Om. Peace. And 3 bells to bring us out. Thank you for practicing with me and yoga for my daughters. I hope that was grounding, Emma. This class was for you.